Rabbit. Hey, first of July. So it's Wednesday and the moon's void, of course, in Capricorn at 7:51 a.m. and enters Aquarius at 3:33 p.m. Oh, interesting, right? Look, that takes us back to when the last Mercury retrograde on March 20th ended during the spring equinox, right? And it ended at 3:33 p.m. also. So Mercury was in Pisces then. Now, to be honest, those angel numbers and stuff like that tend to show us we're heading in a direction. This is a spiritual direction, and that was when Mercury was retrograde in Pisces. Now we have Mercury retrograde in Cancer. Cancer's a little bit more grounded, less ethereal than, say, Pisces. Still subconscious. We're still talking cardinal water, right? But with that being said, look, things were slow then, and we didn't know they would be that slow, but we kind of just went through it, right? Because somehow we were able to maintain a good positive direction. And remember, not everything has a straight trajectory. Not everything is up, 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 up. It doesn't work that way. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, one step forward, two steps back sometimes. You just don't know. Look, patience was required then, as was discipline. And what ended up happening was, personally, I ended up pulling off a decent recovery act when the sun was in Taurus, and then doing even better the following month. So, hey, sometimes we have to measure that by monthly things, right? So, powerful act of recovery during that Aries season led us up to a stellar Taurus season. So, look, patience. Look, we're talking patience. We're talking the moon in Capricorn, right? Now, the moon in Capricorn is void, of course. So today, there's not a huge focus on work because of that void, of course, moon. However, there is a surprising little element to this because Mars is approaching Uranus. And this is kind of strange. Now, look, after the afternoon, things are going to begin to get a little bit complicated. Innovation has to wait unless you've already gone down that road. The road well traveled, right? That's right. So, Mercury retrograde in Cancer has us biding our time, focusing on building a better foundation with more security and strengthening family ties, right? Security, strengthening family ties. Mercury in Pisces was a way for us to shift into the considerable energies that the outer planets were moving into. That's right. We had Saturn and Neptune all entering. We had Pluto already there, and Uranus was going to change again too. And the focus went from earth and water signs into fire and air signs. So now we have abstract ideas and that initiative and energy to pull them off, right? Creatively. That's right. So, but we have Mercury retrograde, right? That's right. So, this Mercury in Cancer is focused on us. It's not focused on the creative outer planets. It's focused on our personal development, how we're going to develop ourselves, how we're going to nurture ourselves and nurture others. Correct? Because it kind of reflects back and forth. So, this is going to contrast heavily with the whole Jupiter and Leo vibe, because actions that could be destabilizing, so you're going to have to weigh them carefully. We have Mars very close to Uranus now, like I just said. Expect more World Cup upsets. I think that's a good thing to expect. And we have look, is there a Cinderella story emerging? Could be. And let's make today's keyword Cinderella. That sounds decent. So look, let's talk about this because our color is a field of lavender. I like that misty, foggy look that it gets, right? The Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter in Cancer will be counterbalanced by Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Why? Squares, cardinal squares. Both want to initiate something. They're going to initiate it on their own terms. Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter in Cancer, that's pretty good. Jupiter has just moved on, though. Jupiter is now in Leo. So what we have left in Cancer is the Sun and Mercury, right? That's an important point. Now, Don't ask me why I wrote that other one. It just gets crazy around here sometimes, right? Uranus and Mars will join Neptune and Pluto in a mini grand trine that emphasizes creativity of a highly combustible nature. Air, fire. A lot of, you feed oxygen to a fire and it turns into a firestorm. Now, unbelievable things are being exposed every day. At what point will there be a flashpoint that will trigger real change at a high level? Maybe that is just some wishful thinking. Maybe that is something that's just, look, it's not for us to worry about that, right? Because people speculate on that crap every day. It's not what you want to be focusing on. There's a real opportunity for this weekend that's coming up to capture lightning in a bottle if you trust your intuition and set your hand to a forbidden task. What kind of forbidden task am I talking about? Expanding our communication efforts could be one of those things that we can do to gain a competitive advantage. Why not, right? Hey, it's something, right? Now, Uranus and Mars could make the most whacked out ideas turn out to be viable. So try not to fast track any sudden fame, all right? Because that's just going to there's a chance that could do more harm than good. Instead, do what feels natural, healthy, and sustainable in the long term. And with Mercury retrograde and Jupiter in Leo, I got it right that time. Okay, good. It feels like we're going to be overwhelmed. Now, when you bring Mars and Uranus together, things are going to feel dangerous, explosive, and very much not what we were expecting. Summer vacations, they're going to slow down the calls for change, right? Because think about it. Pluto in Aquarius has got a long time, right? It doesn't have to change overnight, and it will not change overnight. That's just a fact, okay? It's just not going to do it. It's a gradual change. It's a change, right? Now, look, governments, they're going to essentially shut down if everybody skips town, right? So if that sounds like a good gig to you, like that government gig and skipping town for that while, perhaps you want to stand for office. There's only one catch to that, though. You have to love fundraising. This is a government for the money, by the money, and for the love of that money, right? So that's what you got. So you too can live out an Aquarian dream of changing the system from the inside if you like raising lots of money. So your efforts today should provide you with a sudden surprise tonight. It's more symbolic than it is directly rewarding. Aha, symbolic victories. Ta-da! Efforts made today will have a surprising effect over how we address the remainder of this Mercury retrograde. Okay, you're setting the tone, so that's a good thing. So set the tone. Take advantage of that creative trine. The mini creative grand trine, right? It's Uranus. It's Mars, okay? Mars, Uranus. There's action there, right? Surprising action. Take a chance. Do it. That's what I say. Somebody asked me what was my take on the retrograde. My take is take a chance and do it. Don't sink money into something dumb, okay? Because that would just be, like, I need a new computer. I'm not going to do it. Not till after the retrograde because I have a bad feeling about that, right? I want to be able to do it the right way. But can I do something with this stuff that I have? Absolutely. Can I change something up with what I'm doing right now? I think I can, because I've experimented with all these things before. And as long as it's not changing the basic offering of what it is, then sure, do something different. Maybe a longer video. Maybe something more germane and pointed to another subject, astrological subject, like another deep dive or a month-long review, right? Something like that. That's one of the things that we can do. That's one of the things that I can do. What is that you can do? Leave me comments down below. I'm very interested to see them. So, in 1858, on this date, a joint reading of Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace's papers on evolution to the Linnaean Society has everybody going, what? Right. It renders the audience awestruck and silent. So that what was even implied. It was just, okay. So anyway, and our birth is one Deborah Harry. Happy birthday, Deborah Harry. Debbie Harry from Blondie, right? 81st birthday. She's born in 1945. She's Heart of Glass. The tide is high. Come on. And she was also in Hairspray, too, so it's kind of cool. Born in Miami, Florida. Happy birthday, Debbie Harry. That's all we have for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate and love every single one of you. Leave me comments, do the shares, do the likes, do all that stuff, right? This one's going to come out fairly early because we're back to our noir filming, right? Because you can tell the daylight ones, there's a lot more light going on. But this light is pleasant as well. So let's recap, shall we? Our color is a field of lavender, that misty feel, and the color is and the keyword is a Cinderella story. And perhaps that effort that you do later on tonight is your Cinderella effort. And that would be a cool story, right? Yeah, I like that. I like stories that feature you guys. So anyway, thank you all for joining me. Appreciate and love every single one of you. Today's a 5. Happy astrocatting.